reminder to please protect your voice in the back of the room. Our next speech is by Peter Ash. I did not write this on the agenda. The project is an out of the manual project, not from any manual. And the title is My Life as a Novelist. His evaluator is Al Davis. Al Davis, would you please speak the objectives of Peter Ash's speech?
The objective that Peter gave me was to entertain the audience with an original story. And there are a few other things that Peter mentioned with his one that he originally wanted to do. I don't know if any of that still applies. None of it still applies. So we're going to go with goal is to entertain the audience with an original story. And the title again is My Life as a Novelist. Yeah. My Life as a Novelist.
Yes. And Peter has this to say about the things. Unfortunately, I have no musical skills whatsoever. Certain music moves me, but it is often more for the words than the tunes. Artists like Bob Dylan and Leonard Cohen, for example, I very rarely go to musical performances, but when I do, it is usually folk music. Please welcome Peter.
I was at a party the other day, and an acquaintance of mine came up to me and said, now that you're retired, I think you have some more time that we could spend together hanging out. Well, I wasn't particularly interested in hanging out with this guy, but I didn't want to hurt his feelings either. So I decided to tell a little white lie. And I said, well, I'm in the process of writing a novel. And actually, it's keeping me much busier than I ever was when I was teaching. He said, oh, what's the novel about? Well, I thought I could say, I'd rather not say, but I decided that it would be more believable to make it up as I went along. The novel starts by introducing Arturo Grassi, who is an Italian-American traffic cop living in Dayton, Ohio during the Great Depression. And I show how a series of seemingly inconsequential decisions that he makes on one day in 1934 leads inexorably to the destruction of the World Trade Towers 67 years later. So he said, unbelievable. Well, it's my job to make it believable. He said, okay, what happens next? Well, the action moves to June 1944 during the D-Day invasion. And we meet Hans Spielvogel, an American private who is wounded when a piece of shrapnel enters his skull. After this happens, he begins hearing a series of messages from two aliens, Axolotl and Marvtor. And they communicate to him primarily by means of images and emotions. After the war, he comes back to the United States and moves to Richland Center, Wisconsin, where he starts a cult called the Church of the Twin Towers, which is which is named because of one of the visions that has been sent to him by the aliens, which basically cover a period of almost 100 years of future events that they are predicting. So he starts this cult. Now, the granddaughter of a couple of the cultists, we find out towards the end of the novel, moves to Boston, where she becomes a prostitute. And she spends the night before the World Trade Center attack with one of the hijackers. The hijacker is conflicted about what he's about to do. So he tells her. She, however, does not report this because that would destroy the truth of the prophecy which Spielvogel had said that these towers would be destroyed. So oh my God. What happens after this? Well, the action moves now to the 1960s and a hospital in a small town in Washington State called Aberdeen. And in the hospital is Roscoe Johansson, a lumberjack who has been injured on the job, broken his leg. One of his nurses is a woman named Anna Pakova, who, unbeknownst to him, is a Soviet spy. They fall in love, and Roscoe admits that he is a podophile, someone who has a foot fetish. But the two of them have an affair. Afterwards, he's unable to go back to work. His leg does not heal well enough. So she gets him a dream job as a salesman in a woman's shoe store. Well, so what happens next? The two of them end their affair, but they remain friends. And Roscoe meets one of his customers, Alicia Barnaby, the rich, bored wife of Charlie Barnaby, who works for Aramco. And unwittingly, Roscoe provides sensitive data to the spy, Pakova. Sounds to me like you got an awful lot of kinky sex in that book. Well, yeah, but sex sells. And besides, I really want to bring pedophilia into the American consciousness here. Well, yeah, that's very good. Okay. We will have to get in touch one of these days.